The moment was fragile and sacred, suspended in the quiet hum of anticipation. A single bulb, modest yet miraculous, cast its soft, unwavering light across the dim laboratory. It wasn't the brilliance of the sun, nor the fierce flare of a torch, but something steadier, warmer, a quiet triumph over the unyielding dark. And there he stood, a man whose body trembled with exhaustion, whose eyes glistened with unshed tears, staring at the filament that refused to surrender to the night. His hands, blackened with soot and scarred from countless experiments, hovered for a heartbeat above the glowing bulb, as if afraid that even the smallest movement might shatter this fragile miracle. Around him, the air seemed to hold its breath, the storm outside echoing softly against the brick walls, rain drumming a rhythm that matched the thrum in his chest. This was not merely light. It was hope made tangible, a proof that perseverance could bend the world's stubborn rules. He sank slowly into a worn wooden chair, his shoulders sagging under the weight of months, years of relentless trial and error. Every failed filament, every shattered glass, every curl of smoke that mocked him in the dead of night, all led to this single trembling glow. His lips quivered, but the words would not come. Only tears, reluctant and precious, traced lines down his dust-smeared cheeks, marking the story of a man who had dared to defy darkness itself. Around him, assistants whispered softly, sharing in the silent awe, though none could truly grasp the depths of the journey that had brought this moment alive. He could almost see them, the friends, the curious minds, the young helpers who had carried boxes of fragile glass, measured wires with trembling hands, and dared to hope alongside him. Each had been part of a conversation between imagination and reality, a dialogue in which failure was only the punctuation between ideas, never the end of the sentence. He remembered the nights in painful clarity, the nights when candlelight flickered over stacks of papers, equations sprawling in ink like constellations on a dark sky. Nights when the sharp tang of sulfur stung his nostrils, when sparks leapt from wires like tiny living things, when every sense was alert and aching. Sleep had been a stranger, nourishment a minor concern, and yet the thrill of creation had carried him, driven him forward like a current too strong to resist. And now the room was illuminated, not just by the soft halo of electric light, but by something far deeper, a human heartbeat made visible. He could feel it radiating from the bulb, a pulse in sync with his own, a declaration that the world need not bow tonight, that the glow of human ingenuity could be harnessed, held, and shared. In that tender, trembling moment, he imagined children reading under the soft gleam of lamps, families gathering in warmth that was not fire, streets alive with light where shadows once ruled. A laugh, sudden and brittle with emotion, escaped him. He covered his mouth with a trembling hand, uncertain whether it was relief, joy, or disbelief that he felt most deeply. His knees gave way beneath him, and he sank to the floor, gazing up at the little bulb that burned steadfastly. It was simple, it was small, it was everything. In its quiet radiance, he saw a reflection of himself, weary, unbroken, and endlessly stubborn in the face of impossibility. Time seemed to stretch, soft and slow, allowing him to taste the full weight of the triumph. The smell of charred wood and heated glass still clung to the room, mingling with the metallic tang of electricity. Yet it was no longer a reminder of past failure. It was the scent of victory, of a dream finally made manifest. In that luminous circle, he felt the presence of every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every quiet whisper of inspiration that had led him to this fragile, trembling triumph. And still, a quiet question lingered at the edge of his mind. How many lives could this small flame touch? How many hearts could it warm? How many minds might be freed to imagine, to invent, to reach beyond the impossible? He knew that the world would not change with this light alone. Wires would have to carry it, communities would have to embrace it, skeptics would have to believe. But who had burned through failure as one burns through the veil of uncertainty was revealed: Thomas Alva Edison. In the years that followed, his light would spread far beyond this quiet workshop. Cities would glow, factories would hum, theaters would shine, and homes would be warmed by the steadfast, gentle pulse of electric light. But even as the world marveled, Edison would remember this first flicker, this trembling triumph, the moment when a single filament defied despair. And a human heart dared to shine. For the true story was never about glass or carbon, nor wires or currents. It was about a man who refused to yield, whose spirit burned brighter than any darkness, whose unyielding hope illuminated not just a room, but the path of the entire human endeavor. And in that glow, a world once shrouded in shadow learned to see, to dream, and to believe.